Hello, everyone. Today I have a guest, Anna from Russia. Here we go. And I know you're a professional basketball player.
I used to be, I was.
You was. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? I want to know.
Sure. I mean, it's very different in every country. But probably in the majority of countries, it might be similar to what Russia has, being like the academy system. So the reason why I call myself a professional is because it's like the Olympic Reserve School. Very different from the US, where everyone's playing sports, in elementary school, middle school, high school, and then they make it to college if they do, and get on scholarships, and then they might have a chance to become a pro, might not, but honestly, playing for a big school, you kind of are considered a pro. So back home, we have, PT classes, not PT, PE, right?
PE,
Yeah, PE classes, but they're not as intense probably as they're here. So we have like specific basketball, soccer, hockey schools, whatever. And there are different levels of those. And I got lucky to get into a school that was on like the highest level of those academies. So you're there, you're competing year round. You have your preseason camps all summer long, basically, 2-3 months of the summer. And then you have like the national championship, the city championship. So you're competing year long. And then you can be in the youth team, which is basically you're already a pro. You're getting a little bit of money for that, which is, again, that's the biggest difference with the US is like just right now they're able to make some money playing in college for their what's it called, name, image, and likeness. So, you can get sponsorship, etc. But that's a very recent development. Until like, I want to say 2 years back, you're not making any money playing professional sports, even though playing in American college, you're kind of a pro. But yeah, so I played for 1 year for a youth team, and then I went to college, and my school was not really like the biggest sports school. It's more for education. I mean, that changed, actually. I think our basketball team is now getting much, much better. But when I was there, I didn't play much at the age of like 20, 21. So that's kind of where my career ended, I would say. I played a little bit for my college, but that was it. But that one, like, pro season, that's where, you kind of have your opportunity by age of, I want to say 17, 18, to make money playing sports and doing what you like.
Having fun and making money.
Yeah, so that's amazing. A lot of my friends to date, they had a little bit of a longer period of that, and they still ended up not like being pro basketball players right now, but a lot of people who we played with are in like the national team till today, till this day. So, but that's definitely something that shaped me for sure, because I started when I was 8. Basically, haven't like, I don't want to say like I've finished, because I very recently just went to shoot around, but I wouldn't call myself a basketball player anymore. That's for sure. But that's kind of, there is a liaison between me being here in the States and me being in that team and playing basketball, because the reason why I moved is, I mean, we can probably touch that later, but the reason why I moved was to study sports management, because it's not really a relevant topic back home, or it wasn't. So basketball, for sure, shaped my life. Most of my friends back home are from basketball. I have a couple from college, but the majority of the people who are probably going to be watching that too, so shout out, are from that time. And like some of them, I know them since I was 8 years old, and that's the friendship that is probably going to last forever, because I mean, the team is something, it's like family almost, even though most of us, we separated a little bit, because there's like 12 or 20 people in there, so impossible to keep in touch with everyone. But a couple of the closest ones, that's probably a forever thing. So very grateful for that. Then, even though I didn't make it to like pros, but I would still say that basketball was one of the biggest things.
Was it your choice or your parents wanted you to play?
I mean, it was my choice, but it was definitely dictated by the fact that, I mean, both of my parents played, not on that same level. They played like a little bit. And then my dad worked for CSKA Moscow, which is like one of the biggest basketball clubs and like overall sports clubs. So we went to matches together. We've been traveling with the team. So a lot of the stuff happened. And I was like, I want to do this. The thing is, that's another funny story. So that level of academy, that level of school, you can't really get in there because you want it. So it's like a selective method. So they go around your regular education schools, look at the kids, you know, aged 7, 8 years old. I'll line them up in the class and be
Who's
like,
taller?
oh, yeah, okay, you're tall, you're like long, you know, sometimes you can tell looking at the kid, even though they might be a little shorter, but you can tell that their legs are long, their arms are long. So there is a very big possibility that they're going to grow taller. So they pick those kids. They're also asking about like, how tall are your parents? And the kid's like 6'3", and they're like, okay, here's our card. Talk to your parents. So that didn't happen to me. So I was like, not a lucky one, but kind of a nepo kid, if we want to call that we can, just because my dad was in the system, so he brought me. But I was always like athletic. But the funny part of that is I think it was like the first year, so a year passes, you know, we're training in Moscow. There are some competitions for little ones, nothing super serious. But at this point, they're already dividing the kids that are like succeeding a little bit more into like the first team and then second team. So summer camps comes, and my mom, like, I mean, we're young, we're like 8 or 9. That's our first camp, you know, everyone's struggling because you're away from your parents for 30 days with the coach that you barely know, like all of this. So parents were visiting, we weren't very far from Moscow.
Was it in Moscow or in other city?
I don't remember. I think it was like a 3-4 hour drive, so distant enough, but not too far. So my mom comes and the coach, he's like, yeah, you know, since she's like that nepo kid, she's probably not going to make it to like be very good. And my mom's like, oh, whatever, fine. And then a couple years later, he was apologizing.
Oh, really? Nice.
Because it's like, you know, he was just making an assumption. And because he probably had that before when parents
From experience.
bring the kids and they're not really like into it or it just doesn't work out. But I was really, really invested, and you know, you start learning the basic steps, like things like that, and that's where the cut happens. Because sometimes some kids actually understand how basketball players move. Some don't, and that can change too. I know that your kids just started, so you'll see, like, you know, the 2 steps, you know, the using the right hand, the left hand, that type of stuff. And yeah, like I want to say like a year or 2 later when I was already in the first team and the coach was like, yeah, I'm sorry, she's actually good. She's staying. But yeah, so it's like a mix of things. I wanted it, but it was definitely very much influenced by the fact that my dad was there. And like my dad's a figure that definitely like shaped my interests. Because I always wanted to prove to him how great I am. So maybe that's the reason too.
Of course. Yeah, I just know that a lot of people go to do sports to learn it just because parents want them to do it. And kind of it's my situation. When my boys ask for...
Basketball specifically?
Not specifically.
Okay.
They're like, we just want to go somewhere. I'm like, okay. And our friends, she said, oh, my son is going to basketball. I'm like, oh, where? Let me know. So we just started. They kind of like it, I would say. They go. They don't say, oh, I don't want to go. They're not lazy. That's fine. That's good. But when I see them play, I'm like, why you don't listen to your coach? Why you don't do this? You need to do this. I'm not a player. I never played basketball.
That's what all the parents do, believe me. I mean,
Stop.
Yeah, and like that's the trauma for life. I mean, not really, but it's a funny, not so funny moment. Like all of our parents would sit there and they all act like you know, they're all understanding best.
Yeah.
I think that our coach was actually really chill with that, because there are coaches that will like kick parents out because they're like fucking like with my nerves. Like, get out of here.
Right.
Especially like back home. I don't think that's possible here.
Yeah.
But like our coach was chill, so our parents were always in games, and my grandpa, we were already like, I don't know, like 13, 14, so we were playing like Russian national championship, so things get serious. And I was never really, I was horrible at offense. I mean, I'm a defense player. You know, there's a thing they're saying 3-and-D, which means that the player who can only shoot threes and play defense. So I'm a no 3-and-D player, so I'm just defense, which worked because I was so good at defense that I would start games, you know, I would be a very important piece of the game. But something about me, like, I'm, again, as I said, very athletic, a little bit of bragging, but like just always been into sports, was good at sports. So, and you know, in order to play defense, you just have to be strong.
Yes.
So, you're always sitting, you're always on you're like in your legs down. So, so my grandpa was sitting in the game, and I did something like stupid, like I don't remember what exactly happened, but it was just a normal thing for me to not play good offense. And my number was always 10, and I hear my grandpa's voice at the stands, and he goes, "Just sit number 10. She's fucking the game. Like, just sit her." And I'm like, "You are my grandparent. Why are you doing this?" He was just like, "Yeah, she's horrible. Just put her on the bench." Like,
thanks for the support.
Yeah. So that's that. These are the things that happened, and I was always very stressed before games, which is normal. A lot of people are. But when my family would come, and they would come often, I would be like quadruple stressed because I also know that we're going to come home and they're going to be talking to me about
Discuss
this.
everything.
And like, I don't want to be talking to you about this.
Just don't come.
Yeah, I already know. But no, all good things. And I'm very happy that they actually were able to do that. My grandpa even traveled with us sometimes. So we would go, you know, like again, the national championship happens kind of over like 9 months of the year. So you start September and right before summer, depending on the success of the team, because it's like rounds, you know. But we would travel to like Voronezh, which is a night train from Moscow. My grandpa would come with us, so that was cool. He was like an ultra fan.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. No, but I'm glad your kids are liking this, because you know, everyone who played basketball, at least everyone who I know, there is a saying that like basketball is the best game with the ball, and I believe that truly.
I believe that too. I like basketball, to be honest. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's fast paced. It's you know, things can change really. I mean, in every sport, obviously, but I think it develops you also very well in like different areas. You know, there's like hand-eye coordination. Yeah, it's in every sport, but baseball, for example, not a fan. But also, I'm sure you are not too, just because we didn't grow up.
Yeah, it's not our
with
thing
it.
for sure.
But you see, like, obviously, the hand-eye coordination there is crazy. But I don't see a ton, like, I'm sorry to all the baseball players out there, but
no offense.
I don't see like a ton of athletic development for kids. Like, I see them standing around for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I had the same question.
In basketball, that's impossible. You're running around the whole time. You're jumping, you're running, you know, you're squatting, like all type of things. So
especially for me, it's important because I don't want them to be short. As me.
See, I don't know if basketball actually helps with growing up very tall. Like, I didn't.
So you were like that even before?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because my grandma is super short. Like there is a joke in our family that we're growing like 10 centimeters per generation because it's literally that. Like my grandma was like 155. I don't know what that's in feet and inches, and then my mom is like 164, and then there's me 174. So I don't know what my kids are gonna be.
I hope it's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, but that's a common thing to say, like, oh yeah, my kids are playing like volleyball or basketball for them to be like taller, longer. Maybe actually, because you're jumping a lot. But then there's another thing, like you're jumping and you're landing, you're compressing. So I don't know.
Right.
No, but I mean, overall, I don't think you're ever going to regret them playing any sport.
Yes.
And if they like it, even better. If they don't like it, they go out there again. We're in the country where there is so many options, and it's amazing. And you know they're gonna play other sports in their schools, and they'll be like, "Oh, mom, I want to be a football, like an American football player," and you'll be like, "Yeah, cool."
I hope not, but
yeah, I was just gonna say you're gonna be like, "Great," and I'm like,
I'm not sure
probably
about
not.
Yeah.
Also, no, like when I moved. And I started studying sports management, so there's obviously a lot of like sports around, and number one sport in the country is American football, and I had zero knowledge, interest. I mean, I knew it exists. I knew what the Super Bowl is. I knew the business side of it a little bit, but the sport itself, I'm like watching. I'm like, what's happening? Like I don't understand. And then watching it more with my friends who would explain things, and just having a little bit more experience watching it live sometimes, I'm like, shit, that's a really, really cool sport, and there's a lot of strategy into it, probably more than in basketball. Maybe not, I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of strategy, obviously a lot of physicality, and I'm always terrified of watching them like collide head to head, or what happens to their bodies, but a lot of respect for sure for the sport.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. But you said you wanted to come here just to study.
There was no plan.
So what was the plan?
I mean, yes and no. You know, coming here, I was thinking about it because I knew that we were going to talk about the journey, and I was like, I'm trying to remember what was the plan. And I think the plan was just like, yeah, I'll come here, study for 2 years, so master's degree, and then we'll kind of play it by ear. And that's honestly what happened, because, the main goal was to just get a degree. And the original, like the OG goal, the thought in my head was that I'm going to be coming back eventually, maybe after having some work experience here, coming back to Russia and working with athletes who are either like current active athletes, sorry, or already like retiring or retired athletes. Because again, being around all of the basketball players, and you know, like some of them had like volleyball player wives, or like I also know a lot of hockey players from back home. So being around athletes, professional athletes on much higher level than I was, but they're still like my friends or the people I know, it was very clear that it's a really, really hard transition from your professional athletic life to the other life, because it's literally the complete different life. And, you know, for me, that never happened because I focused a lot on studying in college, and that kind of shaped the future steps. I already knew I'm not going to be playing pro on the highest level. But people who do play pro on that highest level, they put their whole life into it. And again, going back, you know, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to where it started, with that academy system, you're not really studying much. No offense to every athlete I know. They're really smart and curious and amazing people, but they just didn't have the opportunity to get the education that actually people can get here while still being a pro athlete. Depends on the level of effort that you put in everything. And so that's why that transition, I looked at it and I was like, this has got to be really, really hard. And there is not a ton of resources, and there is not a ton of paths that they think are available to them. You're either becoming a coach or like an administrator in the team, like something around the team or the athletes, or your work, like, or eventually you're becoming like not a politician, but some, like in the governance, in the area of governance of sports. Some people get enough money to open businesses and do things.
Something else.
Yeah, but in a lot of cases, businesses also go bankrupt because, again, they weren't prepared for
They
the
don't
other
have
life.
knowledge how to do it,
Yeah.
yes.
So the goal originally was to get that degree in sports management, get into that field of like athlete management, wealth management, that type of stuff, like consultant even role, because I know these people exist here. And that's a very much developed thing. But life happened. And I never ended up even like interning in that field or doing anything, and kind of shifted away from this, for better or worse. I still work in the area that is sports related and really, really close to sports. I work in sports betting. But before, my jobs were also all in sports entertainment. So yeah, the original goal was to come here, study, get that experience, and I even had exposure to people like this. With like, so the funny thing is that coming here, I didn't have it shaped like perfectly of like what it looks like, and then I came to George Washington University, that great program, very grateful for it. And we had a lot of like guest speakers in all areas of sports management, because it's also a lot. It's like there's legal people, there are people who are doing sports law. There are people working for teams, and there's also like a variety of things you can do in the team, right? There are, I think we even had someone from sports medicine, which was not really relevant for us because we were doing like MBA, Master of Science type of thing. And then there was one woman who was doing exactly that. So she was doing athlete management, and she was working with active athletes and retired people already. So they were working on their brand. They were working on how they're getting enough exposure and how they're investing their money. Obviously, she had some help with like financial stuff because she was not a finance girl. But other than that, she was working on setting them up for success after their career is over. Because that's a huge shift. It's very traumatic for a lot of people because, again, you put your whole life into this. And it's
That's
such
why they have a depression all the time.
and that's such a short lifespan, too, because, like, if you're lucky, you play or you do your sport till you're 40 max.
Max.
Probably less, right? 'Cause depending on your health and everything. And some people, again, were able to make enough money to kind of live comfortably, but then there is still like money is just one thing. There is still like, okay, I'm only 35 years old and I have to restart my life.
Yeah.
The only thing I know what I am is a professional athlete. What am I? I mean, I also go through that same crisis of like, what am I right now? Not because anything changed in my, like, not because of a specific event. It just happens. I think a lot of us, we all go through that. But there it's just a very, very specific and very defined thing. Like, it's going to happen, probably.
One day.
So, yeah. And yeah, so I spoke with her. I think I even like, we exchanged emails and did things. I might have reached out to her for an internship, but that didn't work out. I don't really remember. And then I started getting other internships, part-time jobs, etc., in other areas, and kind of shifted away from that. And like when I talk about all this, when I think about it, I think that was actually a really good idea and goal. Like I'm impressed by myself, by my 20-year-old, 22-year-old self, because that's something that like you actually are useful for society. You're doing something that is important. Maybe not for the whole society, but for some people, you might be a good help, a big help.
Basically bring them to life.
Yeah. And like, not to play God here, you're obviously not like living life for them.
Yes.
But if you have the resources that you can share for a fair share of money in exchange, that everyone's winning. Right. So, but yeah, now it's kind of been put aside for a few years now. And I just became like a corporate girly working in entertainment and sports betting, which again, all of my previous experiences, my education, everything, all of that helps, and all of that is applicable for sure. But there is no big goal. There is no like big bright thing where I can say like, yeah, today I did something great and important.
So you're still looking.
We'll see. Like, I mean, in order to do that, you definitely need to have connections in that world of sports, right? You need to have connections in the finance world, like all things that you are like, all the resources to be helpful. I couldn't say that I have that right now. I definitely, probably more than an average person, like just, again, with that education, with some experience from back home, with knowing some people. Here, not as much. Though all of my graduate school friends, probably all of us, we actually have jobs in sports, and some are more than me involved in the actual sports. Like I have a friend who's worked for the NBA, now the NFL. I think he just shifted somewhere else. So they're like really close to the body, and I definitely have connections, and I can find the resources. But I think in order to do that, I mean, obviously there is this what's it called, the syndrome,
Which one?
when you always think you're not enough,
Oh,
imposter syndrome. Yeah, that's a little bit of imposter syndrome talking to you right now, because I always be like, yeah, I need to be better, and I need to know more and know more people and have more resources.
I don't have enough contacts.
But I think that, to be completely honest with myself and with everyone, is like I will need to shift away from what I'm doing now and kind of gain that a little bit more. We'll see. I mean, I'd still love to do some good. Not sure if that's going to be this, but it would be cool.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe one day you will say, hey, Lia, you know what? I started do something really good. I have a big goal now.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, I feel like now I'm just going through that redefinition of who I am and what I want, because right now it's just emptiness. I'm like, I don't know what exactly I'm doing here. But that's important. I think that's an important part of the process too, because if you don't ever have that moment, you might not be moving or growing. I mean, maybe there are lucky people who just pick one thing and go with it and feel happy.
It's really rare.
Probably. Because I definitely don't. I am not that person.
You know what? I'm listening to you and I'm like, wow, your English is great.
Oh, thank you.
Did you learn it in Russia or just here?
I've definitely learned it there. My first second language was French, because I went to like the French school, so we started studying French from like first grade, blah blah blah. And then in school, I think we started our second foreign language, which was English, fifth grade or something like that. But it was not a priority by any means. Like, I mean, you know how Russian schools teach English. Like we all learned English.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, but do people speak? Not really. Like,
it has nothing to do with real English, guys.
Yeah, London is the capital of Great Britain. That's every Russian person will tell you.
How are you? I'm fine, thanks.
But that will be it. I think, again, I was very lucky. My parents sent me to those like summer programs abroad, where I had to speak English.
You had no choice, basically.
which was tough, because again, I wasn't really good at it. I mean, I was picking up languages quick, and also picking up accents quick. I think it has to do something with the ear. You know, like some people are just struggling with picking up accents. My thing was when I got here, like finally for school, my English wasn't that good as it right now. It was still good, and the thing was that my accent almost wasn't there. So there was no thick Russian accent, ever. And people talking to me would expect that I'm fluent, and I wasn't, because they hear that I'm like,
Yeah,
no
no
accent,
accent,
she's got to be good, and
They were like, blah, 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 blah. You're like,
and my,
where is
and
that?
my vocabulary was not there. It was not on that same level as the accent, so that was a tough part, because I mean, I prepped for the exam, YIGA, which is like the SAT, the equivalent of SAT here. So we were able to pick different subjects, and one of the ones I picked was English. So I prepped for that. I had like extra classes. My mom paid for, like to tutor and stuff like that. And then so that boosted my English for sure, because you're prepping for an exam, you're learning words, you're learning grammar, you have to do all that, and my accent was already there, like on a good enough level, so that helped. But it was still not anywhere close to being fluent. And then when I decided that I wanted to come here, it was a super chaotic preparation for grad school. I was just like Googling, what do I have to do? And it was very not clear what I have to do. And I realized that I might have to pass the GMAT exam, which is for grad schools. So that's a mix of math and English, a little bit more professional, proficient level of English. So I did classes for that, and that also helped. But then just talking to native speakers and working and studying English was tough, like listening to lectures in school. And again, I came here not with zero knowledge, and I think the school I ended up going to, they required GMAT, or they at least took it as and I did TOEFL, the other exam. Yeah, so there was a lot of exams.
Yes.
I did them all to like make sure that I'll have the docs when I get into school. But I think they took the GMAT as proof of my English, because they wanted to be sure that I'll be fine. And I still wasn't.
I was about to ask, how is it to study here?
Yeah, I mean, if I went to school right now with more knowledge of just overall life in America, with the comfortable level of English, with some support, like having some friends already, like stuff like that, it would have been super easy. Like I don't want to like degrade the level of education by any means, but and of course, again, because it was a very specific program, so like sports management, a very like narrow type of thing. It was not about how hard it is. It was more the experiences and the knowledge, which was very specific, that we were absorbing from the professors and the guest speakers and all that. You cannot really study that anywhere else, right? So it was more of like listening, understanding, and just absorbing. But we had like stats, and we had some other classes where you kind of have to study. And I have my degree in econ, like my bachelor degree. And I was sitting there being like, are you serious? I'm not paying money for this. I'm paying like $5,000 for this class.
Doesn't look right.
But it was hard because of the language, because of the overall stress of, I wasn't prepared. I think I got to DC like 2 days before school started. So I didn't have a place to live for a couple days.
Girl,
Like there was literally nothing. And then like after, when I met some friends of mine, they were like, yeah, we've been here for like a month. We found an apartment, we did this and that. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. I didn't do that.
What did you think? Like, oh, I'll do it easily?
I don't know. That's when you asked about the plan, I'm like, I'm going back 6 years. I'm like, I don't think there was a plan. It all worked out though.
Yeah.
But one of my closest friends who I met in DC, we were in that I mean, she was in the US for like a couple months. She moved from Philly to DC. But we were in a similar boat of just like being completely lost. And then I remember finding a room where I could live through my friend in Moscow, whose mom was friends with a woman who lived in the DC like area, which was an hour away from the DC. And she lived there. So she had a house, but I didn't even live there. It was her neighbor who was renting rooms out. And I found this. And then my friend, she didn't have a place to live, so we spent like a couple, I don't remember how long, but a couple nights in that one room, just because.
That's a whole scheme.
Oh yeah, no, that was an insane time. I still have it somewhere, but like the ID card for university, and I took a picture. So because we didn't have a place to live, I went to school with 2 backpacks because I was carrying all of the important, like I left my bag somewhere with clothes, but I had my laptop, like all of the documents, everything with me. And first or second day of like, not school hasn't even started, but I think we met our professor. We kind of met the classmates, but I didn't make friends with them then. I felt very awkward, and I had to take a picture for that university card. And I'm like the happiest, the smiliest girl there ever existed on that picture. But I remember very clearly, and my friend and I were joking about this, that I was literally crying on the floor of the bathroom like 10 minutes before taking the picture, because I was like, I want to go back. I can't do this. And I cried, and that was also like a traumatic experience, but there is no hard feelings. But the first like orientation type of class, not even class, but we were in the classroom, so everyone in our graduate program, I don't know, like 30 probably people, and our director of the program, she was just introducing herself, telling us about what it's going to be, all that type of stuff. And then in the end she goes, if you have any questions, if I can help you with anything, come see me after. And I just go down in that like auditorium and talk to her. And as I'm asking, because my question was like, can you help me find a place to live? And I start crying in front of her. I'm sure she was just like bamboozled that. She was probably like that. Now I'm thinking about it. She was like, probably, what the fuck? Like, you picked that. You're a grown girl. That's not like undergrad. That's grad school. We have people who are like 30, 40 years old here. But she was just like, there. And I don't think she said there, but it was like, yeah. Good luck with that.
Welcome to America, girl.
Yeah, so that was tough. But again, all worked out in the end.
And I remember you were saying one day that you hate 2 things in America. It's to find a job and to find a place to live.
No, those are the worst. And like sometimes you have to do both at the same time. And like I want to say like I'm going to lay down and die right now because no. And I haven't had like moves were easier recently just because I finally have some money. So it's really hard to move when you have money. It's impossible when you are not really comfortable with what you have in your bank statement, and you're trying to find something that is okay, and then there is either nothing or it's more like it's hard.
And it's not like we used to, right? So you just pay money and you move in. But here you have to prove everything. You have to have
prove and then sign a lease agreement for 12 months or you're hooked for the month or 2 months rent. I'm like, that. And then there's no furniture.
Yes.
Because to people who don't know, in normal countries, I'm kidding, but in Russia, you're renting an apartment with furniture. Yeah. Like, you might not have the perfect one and you can replace it, but there will be a bed, there will be a couch, there will be some, like, a chair table.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like this. And here, for a person like me who moved with 1 suitcase, maybe 2, not the point. Not having furniture was tough, but that first place where I lived for 3-4 months, that room, obviously was furnished, yeah. But it was funny. I mean, the owner of the house, she lived there too, I think with her sister. She had a big house. It was in Virginia, Falls Church, Virginia. Beautiful place, but again, it was like an hour-long ride on the metro to downtown DC where I was studying, and then like also another hour to go to my internship. So that was fun. But that's for Moscow. citizens like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that's
Moscow
okay.
Metro is very different from DC Metro, though. But we'll put that aside.
We don't
But
talk about.
yeah, her house. She was very very religious, and I remember waking up the first couple mornings. So I wake up, you open your eyes, and there's a huge cross like on the
Oh,
on the
really?
ceiling, and for some reason it had like coffee and something else. It was just a wake up cross. But my friend, and I'm religious too, like I'm the Christian, so I'm not like saying anything that was offensive or anything. But it was just something that I remembered, probably will remember for my whole life. I'll be waking up in this new country. I don't know anything. I don't know anyone, and then I wake up. The first thing I see is the huge cross.
It's a sign that
Yeah, for
you
sure.
have support.
Find God.
Yes.
No, but it was a good house. So she was renting rooms to like young girls like me. We didn't become like super close friends. I don't even have their contacts anymore. But it was still nice. We went out a couple times together. Yeah. So, but was definitely not easy. The first, I mean, I feel like everyone who's going to come to your podcast who moved, no one's going to say that the first year or two were easy.
Yeah, I've heard that the first 2 years are the most complicated ones.
Yeah.
And it's hard to adjust things, to get used to it. And did you know that immigrants have, I don't know if it's a syndrome or something, when they have dreams, night dreams, how they go back or they're back and they need
Oh,
to
100%.
move again. So
Yeah.
I've heard that, but I think like for more than 2 years, like 3, 4 years, I was seeing the same night dream.
I didn't have it for that long, probably. I think I had those dreams. I was definitely thinking about going back. And yeah, when I like had to figure out the college, like student loans and everything, I was like, God, I'm not doing this. And then yeah.
So you wanted to go home.
Yeah, not ready. I don't think I had those dreams for that long. I was definitely feeling that I want to go home, and I was able to go home quite often, just because it was easier than it is now. There was like a direct flight from DC, and it was, I don't know, $700 round trip. So
Round trip?
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I
It
missed those.
It was great. Yeah, we're not going to talk about how hard it is to get home now, for all sorts of reasons. But yeah, so I was going for like New Year's, and I was going in the summer, and then COVID hit, and I still went home, even with COVID. But after year 2, I went home, and I was like, that's not home anymore. But that's the saddest thing. I don't know if we're complaining in this podcast at all, but
Go ahead.
yeah, we are. Okay, good, because I have a lot of complaints. That's the saddest part, and I'm sure it might not resonate with everyone, but I know people who it does resonate with. Like, I mean, I've been here for over 6 years, and I'm pretty much assimilated.
I'm the
But I don't feel like home here, and I don't feel like home there. And you're like, again, go back to the question of what am I, who am I, where am I? Like, all of those things can be really, really depressing. And the first time when I went home and I didn't feel it like I belong, I was sad. I was like, damn.
Because you really loved it before.
Oh yeah, no, I was like counting days until I get home, when it's like a break from school or whatever it was, like Christmas break and then summer. I was like, yeah, 10 days left, 7 days left, and then I'll see everyone, my friends, my family, and then you're just going nuts because you go there for whatever, 10 days, 2 weeks, and you're trying to see everyone because you still have those contacts. Now, not anymore. Or even if I do have contacts, I'm like, I'm not doing this to myself, because I was like exhausted, because you're trying to see every person who you haven't seen in 6 months, and they're like close to your heart, and you're like trying to get, all right, I'm gonna spend half an hour with this person, and we're gonna drive together, so it's another 20 minutes, and then I'm seeing these people, and then you were like ending up not spending too much time with your family, and beating yourself up for this, or beating yourself up for not seeing someone,
Yeah.
and people get mad at you because people who haven't moved, they don't understand.
Yeah.
And you're like, and after years, you're like explaining it to them, like, don't be mad at me. It's not because I don't want to see you. I
Yeah.
just don't have the resource. And
True.
that main resource is time. But now it's like, yeah, I go there. I have my family. That is home, obviously. But it's still like, you're like,
It's
I'm
not the
I'm
same
going
anymore.
back home to Las Vegas in 2 weeks, and they're like, "Is that actually home?" I don't know. So yeah, that's a, for me, for sure. That was a big depressing revelation, and it's still there. I mean, you get used to it. You live, we're like, what are you gonna do? Move back there to try to rebuild your life? No, you just kind of move on. But that sense of belonging, I think, is very important for us humans in general.
Not
And-
in my case.
No?
I don't belong anywhere.
that's I mean, me neither. Clearly. And I mean, it really depends on, I guess, what you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with. And like now I work from home, and I'm a little bit remote from the close people even in the US that I met. So that might play a role too, because you're like feeling like, oh, I'm all by myself. Because when I was going to the office, it was a little bit easier. You're
Still
at least seeing
interacting,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing stuff. I'm like trying to get myself out there. And I'm happy with the remote job. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, so that thing with not feeling attached to a place is good, but at the same time, I'm a little sad about it.
Oh, I see. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I've been like that for 4 years now, so it's okay.
Okay. Maybe it's because, actually about friends. Did you make like good friends here, like close friends?
Oh yeah, for sure. So one of my closest friends, Nastya, she's in DC, New York. Some of my friends from grad school, I mean, they're amazing people and they're close, but we kind of lost touch a little bit after we graduated. We were still close right after we graduated, and then, we all moved to different cities. So that vanished a little bit. But they were definitely my really, really close friends.
Do they? Are they Russian?
No,
No.
none of them are. Nastya is, obviously, but no. I mean, we had a really good international group. We had me, we had a Colombian guy, we had a German guy, we had
The mix.
3 Indian guys, and American, obviously. I don't think I missed anyone, but that's like the core group. We got really, really close during COVID because we all got stuck in our apartments. There was like the school went online and we all lost our jobs because we all worked in sports and entertainment. And in like one moment, we lost the jobs. I mean, we were like drinking, partying, doing stuff. I gained like a ton of weight just because, we were sitting. I mean, we were walking, but it's like eating, drinking, smoking, all the things. I mean, what are you going to do? You were 23 and you were
Stuck
trapped.
in an apartment, right?
Yeah, can't go to your home country and can't do anything. So yeah. So
When did you move to Vegas?
Why or when?
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 And why?
Yeah.
That's
Fair,
a good question.
fair. I'm still asking myself why I moved to Vegas. No, I'm kidding. I moved 3 years ago. That's right. Yeah, I moved September 2022. And I moved for a job. I got a job with MGM Resorts in the corporate office, in the sports and entertainment team. Loved it. It was great. And then I realized that I want to go back to, because I came from online sports betting and iGaming casinos. And as I was with MGM, I was like, want to go back to online. And I only ended up working for MGM for like a year and a little bit. Yeah, almost 2 years. And then got that job that I currently have. So, yeah, so it's been 3 years, which is crazy. And it was for a job. I ended up then staying for a relationship. Now I don't know what I'm staying here for, but I'm still here. Just signed another new lease. Moved to a house, which is very
nice.
exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you to everyone who lives in like New York. Like I'm talking to my friends in New York, DC, and I'm telling them how much the house is, and they're like, "Fuck, that cannot be true." And I'm like, "Yeah,
It is true.
so I guess it's the cost of a room in New
Right.
York,
Yeah, it's
just a
expensive.
fraction of their rent." But we can't compare New York to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
so.
it's different. Yeah. Let's be fair.
Yeah, and then I have another friend in New York, very randomly. So we went to college in Moscow together, but we were never like close friends. I don't think we ever even talked. We knew about each other, but it was never like a friendship or anything. And then out of the blue, a couple of years ago, yeah, so I think I was in Vegas for a year at this point. She she texts me or like Instagram messaged me or something. She's like, "Hi, can I call you?" And I'm like, "Sure." Sure. And apparently she won the green card and she moved. I think at that point she already moved to Nashville. And she was just like asking me about stuff. She's like, "What am I supposed to, like, where, when, how to do things?" And we ended up like talking for a couple hours. And she ended up moving to New York. And now we're pretty close friends too.
Nice.
But that was just like super random thing happened.
See? That's cool. I love stories like that.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I was super like surprised. Yeah, but I'm glad it happened. Yeah, and I have like friends that are not as close, that I wouldn't talk every day or every week, but they're still here. Oh, I missed like the whole group of friends, which are actually all basketball players who we played in the same academy for 10 years.
They're here?
Yes, they're all in Florida now, and I visit them sometimes. And they're like, I won't like, we're not like best friends, but they're definitely some of the closest people I have here. And which was also like crazy that we've spent a lot of time. They're like, one of the girls is a year older than me because our teams were like year by age, and the other two, they're sisters, and they're 2 years older than me. So, but we were still together a lot. And we actually have a ton of people from that Russian basketball system here in the U.S. They're all across the country. But the girls who are in Florida, they're closer to some of them. They at least like see them sometimes. I'm not as much, but I know that they're here, and it's a lot of us. Because I mean, it shouldn't be super surprising because those girls, except for one of the sisters, they moved not with the help, but for a basketball scholarship. So they were good enough players to get a scholarship in a college or like JUCO, which is junior college, here, and then they ended up playing basketball for another 4-6 years, and now they stay, work, do their thing.
Nice.
And all of the people from that little, not so little world who are here, I think most of them came that route. They got a scholarship and then stayed. Some already got married, probably situated with the documents and all that, which is great. But yeah, it's just crazy sometimes. Like when I meet the girls in Florida, we'll be talking. They're like, "Oh, did you know like this person is somewhere in the States?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And they're like, "Yeah, we just learned."
Yeah, every day something new, huh?
Yeah, and it's
That's
very cool.
great.
Yeah.
I love when people move. But what do they say? They like it?
Yeah, I think that everyone who stayed would say that they like it. I mean, we all had our sorts of, different sorts of troubles. Some different, some very similar. Because I think I definitely know some people who got, not necessarily from the basketball world, but even from my school, who got here, got the degree, and then got back. Just were like, yeah, don't want to be here. I mean, there were other reasons too, with like documents when people just couldn't stay, but that's a minority probably. So yeah, I would say that almost everyone, almost, yeah, who got here stayed, and then there are a couple. Like I'm just remembering some people who stayed here for a while and then got back to Russia and being like happy there.
Nice. Yeah, it's important when you know someone else is here. It's not just me, you know.
Yeah, oh,
At
for
least
sure.
you can text or ask something, because when we moved, I had a friend, like close friend in California, and pretty much it. And then I realized that my cousin's best friend is here in Vegas.
Oh,
Actually, they lived in Bullhead City.
okay.
Not Bullhead, no. Wait a second, why I said Bullhead?
The ones like 40 minutes away where there are the Rams? No?
How
Boulder City.
Boulder City. Boulder City, yeah. But we met like after 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, they explained everything. Like we got help from them, and yeah, it's just like people, like strangers. I would text on the Facebook groups, ask for help for a place to live. That's how we find our first apartment. Yeah, and it was horrible because my first apartment, we had scorpions every fucking day in our living room. And can you imagine, like small kids? Like my youngest one was 6 months old, and he was playing on the floor, and I see a scorpion. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I was stressing a lot. I couldn't sleep. I was like, no way I can stay in this apartment. So we started to look for another one, and it was hard because it was just 5 months I stay here, and no one wants to rent it out to you because you don't have credits.
Yeah.
All that, yeah, it was hard, but we finally find another one, and we moved. And after that, I can say I would more relaxed and chill. Yeah. But still, it's in my mind.
No,
the scorpions.
It scars you for life. Like that type of those type of things, they scar you for life. Like my first 2 years, it's all a big scar in my soul. But you know, it's funny you mentioned like finding stuff on Facebook Marketplace in like random places. My closest friend in the U.S., Nastya. The reason why we even became friends was I messaged her on Facebook because in one of the groups, I think it was like the school GW housing type of thing, because I was desperate, but I didn't know that I'm desperate. That desperate? Because I was like, yeah, it's fine, I'll find something. And then, you know, school comes and I still have a place to live. Great, good job. But in that group, I saw her post, and I'm obviously like, her last name is Russian, and I see, and I like open her profile, I check it out with pictures. I'm like, yeah, she seems fine. Let me message her. So I messaged her, like, did you already find a place? And she's like, no. And I think she kind of almost met me at the airport. So I landed from Moscow, and we met an hour or so later, and we went to tour an apartment right that day because she needed a place to live and I needed a place to live. So we went, and that's how prepared we were. They tell us that you need proof of income, and we were like, oh, okay, then thank you. Sorry.
Next.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're friends for over 6 years now, and we ended up never living together. We even lived in the same apartment. So after, like during COVID, I found an amazing studio in downtown DC, like literally almost on campus, 2 blocks away from the White House. So like lovely, and it was cheap. For DC, like I want to say like 1,300 or something. Yeah, unreal.
Not just for DC, like in general.
Unreal. I mean, it was very, very small, but it was some gift. I mean, the owner rented out himself, or like his niece or someone rented out for an older man who doesn't even live in DC. So they just wanted to get rid of the apartment during COVID. So I lived there, and then when I moved to upstate New York, Nastya moved in because we were like, we should not lose this. I think he like he charged her like 100 more, but again,
that's
nothing
fine.
compared to everything else.
Yes.
So yeah, after we toured the apartment, that was the time when we both of us didn't have a place to live, and I found a room, and she found a room like on the other side of town in Maryland, because DC is like that
the
tri-state
border.
area, DMV. So I was in Virginia, she was in Maryland, and we ended up meeting every day in school. But that's really, really stressful. Like everything you like have to do, you can't skip those things. You have to find a place to live. If you're not in the big city, you have to get a car. I mean, for the first 3 years, I didn't need a car. You need to find a car. You need to figure out the bills, which is also fun.
Checks. Let's talk about checks.
Yeah, like bring a cashier check. And what the fuck is cashier check?
Where do I get it?
Yeah, that's happening. You know, like the phone even. I still have a family plan with a couple of my friends from grad school. And Nasty's there and someone else is there, because it was just like, yeah, me and June and Adiraj, and Jonathan. Yeah, the four of us. So the three Indian friends of mine. I don't remember what it was, but they required something, either a social or like some document
type of
that I think it was just me who had it.
And
So
I think bills as well.
yes, yeah. I mean that I think we all had it. Maybe not, I don't remember, but basically I ended up being the parent of the family, and we're still doing this because it's just cheaper
Yeah.
and convenient. But yeah, so all of those things, and you have to figure it out. And I didn't really have any help figuring it out. We were all doing it. I mean, we were doing it together, but none of us knew what we were doing. So you're just, kind of being like, yeah, it will work.
Same thing.
And then taxes.
Taxes. Oh,
That's the fun part when taxes come. And then apparently even when you're a student, like I had
still
to
have-
fill, yeah, there. And I was not making, like, don't get me wrong, I had like 3 part-time jobs and I was not making money. And like, but because of that, I was getting tax return. Oh, good times, not anymore.
But it's
Complain,
good
but
though.
not a complaint,
Yeah, don't complain,
No, but I was making the return, and because I was paying out my student loan, so it was significant, like, I don't know, $1,000 or a couple $1,000. And like, for me, I was like, this is 3 months of paychecks. Like, we're doing this. But that was also insane.
See, I didn't know if you're a student, you still have
Just
to pay.
if you're working.
If you work.
Yeah. You still have to.
But can you work if you study?
Yeah, just not. See, if you're on the student visa, no. Or there's a very limited amount of hours, and I'm not gonna misspeak, but probably not more than 20 a week or something. Because when you're on a student visa, you're a student. The country sponsored your visa to be a student. I was with a green card from the beginning, so I could work however much I want. I mean, people still work because like, what are you gonna do? How am I supposed to live, pay rent, eat food, do things if I'm a student and I can't work? So people like find ways. But yeah, you still have to file taxes and do all this fun stuff. Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah, when I came here, I'm like, I know English. Like, I know it wasn't the best, but I'm like, I know English. I can do stuff. First time I went to the bank to open an account, I'm like, what? What did you say? Let me just sign something. That's
Yes.
it. And it's so different. Yeah, I think I was like in shock for the first week or two. I didn't realize the size of the problems. And then I was like, oh, damn, I need to do this, and that. I'm like, okay. And I was asking my friends sometimes, and it was so embarrassing. Like, can you please translate this, or what do they want, and what should I do? And yeah, it was embarrassing. I didn't want to ask for help, but I had to. And thankfully, I had people. Yes, we didn't. It would be so great to have it.
Yeah.
So for people who are moving now or thinking to move, it will be easier.
It will
for
be
you guys.
easier. No, and literally, you can ask any question. You can take a picture and be like, what do I have to do?
You can picture and translate like right after.
Everything. And even like spit out the voice. Like, just talk to me and it will. It's
And
great.
you know, new AirPods, the Pro ones.
Oh
They
yeah, the
can
one that
translate. So
translates.
you talk to the bank, you speak in Russian, and that's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, no, we didn't have all that. I
Old
mean, we
school.
still had phones with internet, which is great.
Right.
Some people who moved before us did not have that.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, I'm still like sometimes when you're watching movies. Obviously, America is the country of immigrants, and you're watching movies about like the 1800s or the
Hmm.
1700s. And I'm like, how did they do this?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Mm.
You literally have zero communication with your homeland.
Hmm.
You don't know the language. You don't know how things work. Uh,
You don't
but
know
people
anything, yeah,
people
and you don't
did.
even know where to go. Now you can look it up.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
before, I was listening. I don't remember. It wasn't a podcast. It was kind of YouTube video.
Mm.
They were asking people how was it before, and they were saying like we had to ask someone who knows someone who works somewhere who can help you to get the information, not the solution, just the
Yeah,
information. It was way harder than now, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's
It's-
kind of how I got my first room, right? Asking my friend in
Yeah.
Moscow, whose mom is friends.
Right.
But yeah, with internet, that's crazy. But I just couldn't find. And that's the thing. After that, I was searching for places by myself.
Hmm.
I found I was not the second place. I think the third place. I went home, and that was my biggest mistake. So I went on like either Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. I don't remember because my budget was very, very tight.
Hmm.
And I started searching for rooms, and I found a room while still being there in Moscow. And I'm like, you know what? We're taking a leap of faith. I signed the lease, and because I literally didn't have a place to come back
Hmm.
to. So I signed the lease. I come to the house. The house is nice. Everything's like fine, but the room literally didn't have a wall. It was plywood. Like one wall was non-existent. It was like so. DC has a very nice part of town called like DuPont Circle. It's your like, a prob. I'm not very good at architecture, but it's like 1900s, like 3-story buildings. So you have basically the whole, like a very narrow house. So it's 3 levels of rooms.
Hmm.
And it's all one house. So there's one kitchen, like a couple bathrooms. So that room was on the top floor, and it didn't have a window. And I think what they did is they just turned like a living room type of thing into a room, because it was so there was a plywood wall going down into the kitchen and that. And I didn't even stay there one night. I got there. I think I slept at my friend's house that night because I got there, I didn't even unpack my bags. I realized there's no wall, there's no window. Like, I mean, that was on me. I didn't check
Hmm.
thoroughly. Uh, but yeah, so after that, there was still a process of like trial and error. But then I found that
The good one.
the studio. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, after living in like shitty rooms and having a room without a wall. Yeah, and the previous one was also the same thing, but that was like I knew what I'm signing up for. Was right before COVID, and like COVID hit, I was still there. So it was like kind of university housing. I mean, we didn't have like dorms or anything. There's nothing like that for graduate students. So be on your own, find a place to live, which is fine. I mean, we're adults, kind of.
Kind of.
So what they did is they turned a 2-bedroom apartment into a 3-bedroom apartment by. I was always saying that I live in Narnia because my walls were the bookshelves. But it was like okay, it was better than the plywood. But also because it was like everything was new and nice and pretty, and I had a balcony, so that was cool. But so one wall was the balcony, the other wall was the door to
bookshelf.
Narnia, the bookshelf. And then there was an actual wall, and my door was those plastic things like that they kind of slide. Yeah, so that was the door. And everything would be fine, but I was working those part-time jobs all in sports, so I would come home really late after games and stuff, or after like drinking beer with my friends. And I didn't have to wake up too early, but one of my roommates, she woke up at like 5 every morning, and she was making coffee, you know, being a little loud, like being a normal human in the kitchen, but my door was like right in front of the kitchen.
Like a paper.
So that was tough because the other girls, they were living in actual rooms that were there before they turned it into a 3-bedroom. So yeah, that apartment, that studio was just like, oh my God, this is a gift from God. after all of my all of those
After
shitty
all
places.
that, you appreciate even.
Oh no, and it was nice. It was really nice too.
But do you have something that you like here more than in Russia? Because I feel like
definitely do.
people can hear us and they will like, they
Why
just
would I
hate
even
America.
For sure. I mean, the opportunities, like that's for sure. And I'm like, I can call myself privileged and lucky and whatever, but if you have a goal, if you have an idea, if you work hard enough, you're gonna make it. Obviously, there are, there's life and there are things that happen to all of us, but it's not that. I feel like the hard work does pay off. I know we're not talking politics, like maybe now it's not as rainbow and ponies as it was like 100 years ago, America, land of opportunities, but I think it still is. So that's one. Two, for a person who still loves sports, not as much as before, but I'm still invested into that world. Obviously, this is like heaven, with professional sports of all levels and sorts and whatever you want. And it's amazing how people are into sports here. Like, families have their season passes to different teams, different sports. That doesn't happen back home, and not just pro sports, but also like amateur and kids, and having those, you have billions of opportunities.
Pretty much every kid goes to like at least one sport here.
To participate. You kind of, I mean, if you really don't want to, you're still doing it, but you're not like taking that seriously, right? You might be doing music or dance or whatever, but you have the opportunities. That's actually to the other thing too. Very small thing, but that's a big difference. That is a difference for like a positive one. The accessibility of fitness overall. You have a gym in every area of town. And it's $10 a month. And you're like, that's nothing. Or if you want to get fancy, you can find a fancier gym, right? If you want to be like me, I go to Planet Fitness for $5 a month. 5? Maybe 10. I don't remember. I think when I started it was 5, but it doesn't matter. Not the point, right? You have the Y that can even like be free, YMCA. Like that was my go-to when I lived in Syracuse, because I was living in like the building where the YMCA was. I didn't go to the gym there because it was nasty, but they had a pool, and I spent like hours in that pool.
Just to compare, do you remember how much it is in Russia to go to the gym?
I don't even know now, but I think my mom was telling me, because she just got a membership for my brother, because he started to get fat, and he doesn't go there.
But she tries.
Yeah. But it was, I think that you were also signing for like a year. And it was closer to like 60K rubles, or like
that's a lot.
over. So which is what, like $600?
Now?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
600? No, wait.
I don't know the exchange now. What is it?
Let's take 100. It's probably less.
Yeah.
But
it is still a lot. For Russia, it's a lot.
It's a ton. No, like I when I was working, I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. And I'm also like I'm spoiled again with the past where we had all the gyms and stuff for free. You know,
Yeah.
that's your job
Yeah.
to train. But yeah, no, when I was working and living in Russia, I was just going to the pool and like some. I used to go to the gym, but that was like someone took a space similar to that and just
Yeah.
created a
Really
gym.
small.
Yeah.
I had one at my house, like right next to my house, and it was not that expensive, but it's not like big
It's not
as
a
here.
gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a real gym. It's just a little bit.
Yeah. So that's another pot, and like that's something that not like crazy important for me, but it is an important thing, and that's something that I notice. And I'm like, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah, like everyone who wants will be able to be fit. That's for sure.
Yeah. You can't make it as an excuse.
Oh yeah, no, 100% no. Um, I mean, not anymore, but it was easier to travel around the country and like flights too. When I just moved, it was kind of like I remember it wasn't hard. I mean, it was the COVID time, so the prices were low, because everyone was scared when we were still able to go
Yeah.
places. But road trips, that's fun. Like I'm not a bit like I hated driving before moving to Vegas. I never drove. That's the thing. I lived in Moscow, then I lived
Yeah.
in DC, then I lived in
You don't
New
have
York,
to.
upstate New York, and never had a car, never needed it. I had the driver license since I was 18, but I actually started driving at 20. What am I now? At 25 when I moved here, or 24 when I moved here. And I had to buy a car because that's another funny thing. When I moved to Las Vegas, it was like early September, so it was still really, really hot. And they MGM put me in one of their hotels for 2 weeks so I can find a place. And I was walking to the office because it wasn't very far. It was off the strip, but very slightly off the strip. So it was like 15 minutes. But a couple times I almost had like the heat, what is it?
Stroke.
Stroke, yeah. I was trying to go through casinos, but you still have to go outside. So that's one. But then I found a place, and I bought a bike from Facebook Marketplace from
In the summer?
from an old couple. Yeah, because and for some time I was biking and walking to places, and also actually when I was trying to find the apartment, I decided that I had like a map. So I had, I don't know, 5, 6 apartment complexes that I kind of liked on pictures. And I was like, okay, I'm going to Uber from this trip from my hotel to the first one. And then I'm going to walk. And that's when I actually did have the heat stroke. So I ended up like sitting in a restaurant just being like, can you give me ice? So I can, yeah. But yeah, for some time, not for long, but I was walking and biking everywhere. And people were looking at me like I'm insane. Because I was like, sometimes you have to cross like a highway. There is still a walkway, but no one walks there. Only crazy people or homeless people. And I don't look like crazy or homeless. So people were stopping and like honking, being like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just walking." All good here.
I just miss my walks.
Which is actually true, because like DC is a walkable city. Moscow is always obviously a walkable city. Even in upstate New York, it was not that much, but the city that I lived in was still walking everywhere. Here, not as much. So, but then I was like, oh shit, I have to buy a car. Like the time came, and and I never was like crazy about owning a car or like having one. So I was like, I have to spend money on this. That's like on something that I don't want to be doing. I don't want that. But I ended up buying a car. So my first ever, my car. I ended up buying my childhood dream car, Mini Cooper. It's old. It's very funny. My boss recently, he was like, we were talking about cars. And I'm like, yeah, I have a Mini Cooper. And he's like, is it vintage? And I'm like, I don't know if 2015 considered vintage, but yes. It's 10 years old, so probably vintage at this point. But yeah, so bought it, like low finance loan, whatever. Wasn't, and then something broke, and I was like, fuck, now I have to spend money on fixing something I don't need and I don't want. So that was a big pet peeve for me, being like, why do I have to own a car? I don't want to have a car. But I'm like, I have to.
Yeah, you have to.
So yeah, that was another thing that I'm like, you know, together with those apartments, documents, things, I'm like, car.
Get in a car.
Yeah. And I was a horrible driver because so Syracuse is a very small town in upstate New York, so the roads are empty, and that's where I was getting my American license. And I already had my Russian license, but you still have to like do the tests and everything. I failed 2 times.
Really?
On empty roads. I was, I mean.
What did you do?
I think the first time I didn't see the stop sign. The second time I don't really remember. I was just so stressed, and I was also traumatized by I failed 5 times in Russia. Only
really?
or
Russia,
maybe
it's
4 or 5. Like that doesn't really matter, but it was a lot of stress for me and for the people who were supporting that. But hated driving, was never good at it. And here I had to, because I have to go to work every morning, and I was going around the highway. So I was like, okay, it will take 20 minutes to get to work on the highway. On side roads, it's going to take 35. But guess what we're doing? We're doing side roads. But it was only like that for a couple weeks probably. But I remember picking up a car from CarMax from like way up north. And I realized that I have to drive it home.
What did I do?
It was horrifying. And I was like, so, again, no one, like, I was doing it all by myself. And my boyfriend, he still laughs at me because I didn't know that I have to change oil.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't change
Like that bad?
I didn't change it for a year and a half.
So don't buy a car from her, okay?
Oh yeah, that one's going to trash after I'm like done with it. Probably. Oh, and I was smoking at the time, and like there was like, I remember what happened, but there is a hole in the roof.
Oh, you big.
But yeah, so that car, I loved it. But so the thing is, I bought it from CarMax, and when I was looking online, one of the biggest things that I was looking for with filters is the back camera. Because I'm like, I can't park for shit. I need that camera. And that car was saying like, yes, it has the camera, all good. And I'm like, okay, perfect. It's a Mini Cooper like I want it. It has a camera. I don't need anything else. I don't know anything else about cars. So it's fine. So, and then I drive it. I get home. I don't even think I noticed the first day. I might have noticed in a week that I don't have a camera. And I call my parents with FaceTime. And I'm like, how do I check if the camera's there? They're like, well, you should see it, like physically see it. And I'm like showing them. They're like, yeah, the camera's not there.
Like, did you call CarMax?
Huh? Yeah. So I called them. They're like, yeah, well, we're so sorry, whatever. Because in the contract, I think it was listed like all the features that it should have. I brought the car in. They paid for my Uber to work and from work. They like ordered the camera and stuff, so they did everything. So
they just installed it. Oh, okay.
No complaints to customer service whatsoever. the something broke, something like important and expensive broke 2 months in, and it was hot. Oh, the AC, like compress. I wouldn't know. Condenser, compressor, those things. I think maybe both. so that's where I got really upset. I'm like, shit. I like have to pay a couple grand, and I had some really expensive like warranty, and it still didn't cover all. I remember painful stuff. Scarred.
We all struggle with first car.
No, but with oil, like he was like, how did you? He's like, are you kidding? I'm like, no one told me that I have to change oil. Like, you know, he's like, did anyone tell you that you have to like put gas in the car? And I'm like, well, at least it says it, you know. It says like the car stops when you have no gas. With oil, there might be a light on the thing, but who would know what it means?
Just another light.
No, and I was like, I think it was saying like the oil's low. So I was like, okay, let me pour more. And I was just buying oil for from the car shops and pouring it in.
At
And now,
least you did that.
yes, yeah, no, my engine's working fine. No, fine-ish. I don't know. It's loud.
You're funny.
See, that's the thing we have to deal with here. But also, like, being a girl by yourself, these are the things that you're facing, but you're becoming stronger and more mature. And also have stories like that. They're dumb, but
Yeah.
something to tell people.
We all have something to say. That's
Yeah,
fine.
for sure. Now I'm an okay driver, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is that I always have something in my hand.
Uh-oh.
That's not good. Like
I hope it's not a phone.
no, never,
Okay, good.
never a phone.
So I don't have to pray for you.
Just pray for me, just in case. Doesn't matter if I have a phone or not. I'm kidding.
I will.
Won't be extra. Will be just fine.
You're funny.
No.
Is there something that you miss?
I definitely miss, like, that's the biggest thing. I miss culture, walking, like, ability to just go out, like, get out of your house, maybe take a bus or a metro, whatever, and just go. And it will be nice. That's not the case here, so... But that's not a comparison like America versus Russia, but kind of is a little bit, because even, I mean, New York, D.C., Boston, Chicago are like that. Everything else, not
Kind
as
of the
much.
same, yeah.
So that's something that I do miss. I mean, I wouldn't say that every Russian city is super walkable and nice. That will be unfair.
Yeah.
But the culture of like driving and public transportations are very different, and that's more common for us to just like go outside and go somewhere. That's one. Not like I feel like my life obviously changed a lot, but overall, also like with technology, with social media, you feel really, really that's the thing. We are like my generation for sure. I don't know if you can say that about your generation. Not that we're very far apart, but we're still a little bit different. We are very connected, but at the same time very, very lonely, because there is not a ton of life action happening, but we're all there. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, I'm still aware of the life that's going on there, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on the ton. I definitely do, because I'm not there. You know, my friends are getting married, divorced, having kids, all of those things that I'm not there for. I mean, I do miss spending time with the closest ones. But in terms of the way life works, other than that ability to hop on public transportation, go to a nice place, go to a museum, go to theater, all of those things, probably not much. Maybe I'm like blanking on something. I don't know. Do
Like
you?
food?
Food? I was definitely struggling for the first like year. I was like, oh, nothing tastes good. I'm so much looking forward to going home and eating like either my mom's food or even go to restaurants back there. Now I'm just like, I'm going there and I'm like, why is the portion so small? What the fuck? Where's my food? Because before, see, that's the thing. Before, I wouldn't be able to finish a Chipotle bowl at once. Like the first year. Now,
Easy.
no big deal.
Please.
Like, not a problem. So yeah, you go there, you go to a restaurant, you're like, that looks like it's not enough food, and then you eat it, because I'm sure it's just our like receptor, right? Is that the same word in Russian and English?
I think so.
Like, yeah, so like our taste buds are like they've adjusted, and I'm like, I still am not a big fan of American restaurants and like Las Vegas restaurants specifically. In general, I'm like I'd rather cook home because it's just not very good. But there are things that are, I'm not gonna cook sushi at home or like stuff like that. But I can't say that I miss food because I think I've adjusted a lot, and it's just like, yeah, food is food,
Whatever.
What about you? Like
I miss like Georgian food.
Georgian food? I mean that one, yeah, I do too.
Cheese.
Yeah, good cheese, good veggies. That's the other thing. I really, really miss, like, obviously back home it's not that we have good vegetables all year long.
Yeah.
But we at least have seasons.
Season.
And in the summer, we have really good chance of getting good cucumbers, good
Cucumbers.
tomatoes, like the good greens, all the herbs. And I have a funny story about herbs. I just said it and I remember. So my ex-colleague, she's from the U.S., and we were like close enough when we were working together. We were talking about something, speaking about the accent, making people think that they're talking to a fluent speaker. I was like saying something and I wanted to say word herbs, and I say herbs because I'm like, that's herbs. Herbs is herbs. And she's like, huh? You're talking about herpes? And I'm like, no. So those things happened a lot. Oh, sorry, I completely changed the topic.
I like the story though.
When I just moved, so my friends, we were very close. June, he's from India, but he did his undergrad in the U.S. too. So at the point where we met, he was already in the U.S. for like 4 years. And Indian people do speak English with a thick accent, but he didn't even have that thick of an accent because of that. So he was all, like he just graduated college. He all knows all the slang. So he texts me, like we were texting about like school or something, I don't remember, or like we were all going out. Doesn't matter. He texts me, yeah, it was BS. And I'm like, dude. Maybe I didn't even say dude because I didn't know the word. But I was like, you forget who you're talking to. I do not know the abbreviations. I do not know the slang. And he responds to this with SMH, which is shaking my head. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just told you I do not understand this.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, and then my other friend, Thomas, he once called me a bad bitch. And he meant it as a compliment. And I took so much offense to it. I was like, well, and he's like, Anna, just like I was trying to be nice. And I'm like, but you weren't. Yeah. What do you mean?
I was like that too at the beginning. I was like, what do you mean? What did you just say? Say it again.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, but people were laughing. And again, I think because they weren't expecting me to not know certain words and certain things, and so that's why it was even more funny, because they talked to me. They were like, "Yeah, you seem fine with English," and then they just don't know very basic things, and they're like, "Huh? How come you don't know BS?" They're like, what? But then of my job before MGM, my boss, she was great. She was very funny, very kind, American, but somehow all of the slang, and she was young. She was like only maybe like 28 or so when like 5 years ago, or no, less, 3 years ago. She didn't know a lot of the slang and all of those words and curse words and all the things. I don't know how it happened, but she didn't. And the industry that I work with and worked in before, very young, very like fast paced, especially on like the lower levels of the career ladder. All people are just graduated like college or grad school. So they're all talking nonsense and like all the memes, everything. And at that point, I was already a little more aware in the culture, and she wasn't. So we did like the Britney dictionary. Every day they were giving her something new, and I was learning with her because some of those I didn't know.
Good. Every time when I ask someone like, "Can you teach me slang?" They're like, "No,
What?
no, because you don't need to know. Like, it's bad. Like, You better know proper English. I'm like, no,
No, like,
I want to know
that's
slang
how
as
people
well.
talk, you know. Yeah, my
Right.
best friend from back home, she's always like, and she sometimes she's even more into American like pop culture and stuff. She would know more about like shows, music, and stuff than I do. But every time we talk, especially when we meet in person, she's like, okay, tell me everything. Give me the new stuff. She's like, I need to know. And or she will be like asking me something. She's like, I saw that is trending on TikTok. What does that mean? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't have TikTok.
You're like, wait a second.
Yeah. So the last one, this because I was home very recently. I don't remember. There were a couple things. Oh, it was like a good luck Chuck. And I think it was dogs barking when people are talking about like it's
See, I don't know. I'm like,
random things, very random. Because she asked me about it, and I'm like, yeah, that means this. And she's like, that's so cool.
I need your lessons. I need to learn too.
That's the thing. I was worried coming here that I'm not going to be able to speak, but I'm clearly
Look at you.
I clearly love talking about myself. Thank you for that stage finally.
Yes.
But see, because I don't go to the office, and when you work remotely, and now as I'm a little more of a senior employee, everyone around me are much older than me. Like I work with much older people, which is great. They're all amazing, but we're definitely on very different levels of like communication. They're still funny. They're saying funny shit, but it's very different compared to what I had in my previous jobs where I had like people my age.
Yeah.
And we were in person. So fine, there's good and bad and everything. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm definitely losing some of that grip in the slang and cool words.
Just one day you need to be in that.
That's actually a thing. I remember when my friend texted me those BS SMH thing, I downloaded Urban Dictionary because I was like, every time I was texting with them, I'm like, I have to like search what they mean in those texts. So
I still do.
That's your resource. Oh, okay, you do.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, see, I
do.
didn't have that, so I had to like do Urban Dictionary, which was fun too.
English, yeah, the language part is a fun part.
Oh, yeah.
Like recently, I hurt my upper back and I had to go to a chiropractor.
Oh,
And my kids were at their friend's house, and their mom, she was like, "Oh, how was your chiropractor?" I'm like, "It was good. Like he said, I need like 6 sex sessions." Her husband like,
what do you mean?
Are you sure you need 6 sessions? I'm like, oh, sorry, I mean 6.
But that's the thing. It always happens in that context because if you were at the chiropractor and you said that, it wouldn't be that funny. But it always happens like that to us, and yeah. So the friend from grad school. So I had my green card. They all knew that, and for the whole first semester, so like 4 or 5 months, it was very obvious and clear that we were really, really divided into like international versus American. They didn't want to have anything to do with us. I don't know why. They were just like, oh, those foreigners. Like, but that was the thing. And I think only by like December, so we started September, only by the end, like closer to the end of the semester, a couple of them who then became, we were all like one good group of friends. They slowly started realizing that we're actually really fucking cool. Like, because we were all with very different backgrounds. Like, my Colombian friend, he is a sports journalist who, like, went to Russia for FIFA World Cup. And, like, he was a little bit older than majority of us. Then we had a guy from Argentina who he was, like, 40. And he did it through his job, so they sent him to get that MBA. Yeah, he was working for like PwC or someone else, like consulting company, and they had a project sports related, and they sent a person to get a degree in sports management to come back. Yeah, that's really cool. So like we were all really cool, and those American kids who just graduated college, knew fucking nothing about the world. They were like, I'm kidding, but that was how we felt. At least I did. But we had our fun, internationally.
Yeah.
It was great. And by the end of the semester, we were like, oh, let's do beer Olympics, like the U.S. against the world. And I'm like, well, I'll be Team USA, right? Because I have a green card. And Thomas, my friend from the U.S., he looks at me dead serious. He goes, get the passport first, and then we'll talk. I'm like, and then everyone else from Team USA, they're like, Thomas, are you kidding me? She's Russian. She's just gonna drink everyone under the table. Like, what do you mean we need her? And I'm like, that's it. I'm going to
I'm
Team
not playing with
International. I'm going to Team World. And I don't think we ever ended up doing Beer Olympics. We were just drinking. But we're drinking a lot. Oh my God, that was insane.
You had
no
fun.
No shit. I gained so much weight, like a lot. But it was fun,
It
and
was
it was
fun.
like a part. I think it was an important part of our socialization.
course.
Without it, I wouldn't be as close to them as we
Mm-hmm.
ended up being. But yeah,
But you don't drink now.
not at all.
See,
Oh, I recently had Georgian wine because
Oh.
I had a bottle at home.
that doesn't count.
And it's amazing wine, and I still feel like shit. And I'm like,
Really?
yeah, that's it. Which is very, very unfortunate because I loved wine, I loved beer, I loved drinking.
Not anymore, obviously.
Yeah, clearly, clearly, and that's maybe another part of you just have to find something else that is gonna bring. I wouldn't even call it joy because it was the people who were bringing joy as we were socializing. But,
True. People are always
Yeah.
the main thing.
for sure, for sure.
I have one last question for you. What is your American dream? If you have one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. See, at the moment when I'm just reorganizing myself and reinventing, it's not an American dream, but just overall my dream is to be able to be happy at what I do, because I know that I'm not going to be able to be just a stay-at-home mom, probably, full on, 100%. So to be able to be happy at what I do, and in order to do that, I need to, to what we started discussing, I need to feel like I'm doing something important and not just one of the wheels in a huge engine. I might be one of the wheels, but I feel like we're making the impact. We're having an impact. While having a family, I really want to have kids, to have a family, and combining the two is the dream. I think that that's the only way that I can actually feel fulfilled and happy. But again, that has nothing to do with America. Actually, it might have to do something with America, going back to the opportunities conversation. You can find ways of doing both.
Yeah.
The only thing is the healthcare here might not be the best to
Here we
support
go.
my dream. But that's all, depends on how much money you have.
Right.
So,
All about money here.
and America allows me to have enough, or at least gives me the opportunities to have enough money to make that dream come true. So that's that.
That's great. Hopefully one day we will celebrate it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure we will. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. It was a nice conversation, and I hope everyone will like it. We're actually waiting for your comments.
Yes.
Yes, let us know what you like, what you didn't like. And yeah, thank you again for coming. Love you.
Thank you.